In the quiet Polish village of Nowiny in 1943, a glowing craft lands in a field, forever altering the lives of those who saw it. What secrets did this craft and its eerie alien occupants bring to a world consumed by war? Let's explore the story of the Nowiny alien encounter. I'm MF Thomas, and this is My Dark Path. Some of these Polish wartime UFO cases are not limited to sightings only, but include actual encounters of the third kind. The story of the Nowiny alien encounter unfolded in 1943 in the small Polish village in the Chelm area near the modern border with Ukraine. Even today, the quiet rhythm of rural life hides the extraordinary event that took place on a single night over 80 years ago. Two Polish UFO researchers, Piechota and Ryspecki, uncovered this incident decades later in 1987, bringing it into the public view when they interviewed the sole surviving witness. This man had only been 16 during the encounter, and here's the story he shared. After a day of labor in the fields, the witness and three other men had been sitting outside a hut talking. The ages of the other four were not disclosed, but they must have been either too old or too young for military service. The event started when the men saw a light glowing softly, penetrating the thick canvas of the night. The light originated from a field about 110 yards away from where the hut was and where he and the four others sat. Perhaps braver and more curious than the rest, the witness and one other man decided to investigate. Armed only with lanterns, they made their way across the field. As they drew close, they came upon a large object resting in the field. Its appearance defied anything that they had experienced or heard of. The object resembled a hat set on a wide bollard, a bollard being a round base. The cabin of the craft rested atop this cylindrical base. It was obviously mechanical, and it pulsed with an unusual brightness. The cabin featured a row of windows that glinted in the moonlight, and the cylindrical base bore a sliding door from which a small ladder extended to the ground. In total, the craft stood approximately 11 feet tall and had a width of about 13 feet. For a moment, the two men merely stared, their lanterns casting trembling beams on this object. Then, nearby movement startled them, and emerging from the shadows as though they had been temporarily away from their craft, a group of beings approached, 8 or 9 in total. Each stood about 4.5 feet tall, and these aliens, later dubbed the Nowiny Humanoids, did resemble humans in some ways. They roughly appeared like our idea of a gray alien, but their skin carried a pinkish hue when seen under the lights of the craft and the lanterns. But what was most unsettling to the two humans were the aliens' smiles. When they grinned, the corners of their mouths arced upward into an eerie half-moon shape. The Nowiny Humanoids wore headgear that was strapped under their chins, and they had simple two-piece outfits that seemed tailored to their small forms. Their movements were deliberate, almost hypnotic, and their voices, a shrill, rapid-fire language, reminded the men of what they thought Japanese might sound like. Seeing the two men, the aliens approached them, clearly speaking to them. Though their words were incomprehensible, their tone and gestures conveyed their intent. They wanted the two men to enter the craft. The witnesses, however, were in a state of shock. They shook their heads vigorously, backing away while raising their hands in refusal. The aliens, though, pressed on, their gestures becoming more insistent. The standoff continued until finally one of the aliens, seemingly frustrated, raised its hand and made a sharp, sweeping motion, and instantly an invisible force struck the men, sending them tumbling to the ground as if pushed by a powerful gust of wind. The witness recalled the sensation vividly. It wasn't pain, but a force that overpowered them. For whatever reason, the aliens gave up their request for the human witnesses to join them aboard the craft, and dazed from the assault, the two humans watched the aliens ascend the ladder and enter the craft. The door closed, and the ship came alive. First, a loud hiss cut through the night, followed by a low vibration that reverberated through the ground with a deafening buzz. Then the craft lifted effortlessly, ascending vertically and vanishing into the star-strewn sky. When the witness and his companion returned to the hut, they found their companions huddled together, wide-eyed with terror. Though they hadn't seen the aliens or the spacecraft, they had witnessed the strange glow and heard the cacophony of sounds that had accompanied the ship's departure. The group talked through the experience for the rest of the night, though the event seemed beyond their ability to process. Years later, when the surviving witness recounted his story, the events of that evening were still like a dream to him. Did the aliens come to study, to invite, or to warn? And why had they chosen this tiny village in eastern Poland amid all the chaos of World War II? If you're watching on YouTube, you can catch up on my other episodes about the Gdynia UFO crash and the discovery of an alien survivor. You can also watch the episode about the Emelson incident, where a farmer was brought aboard a UFO. Just follow the links on the screen. And if you like My Dark Path, I think you'll also enjoy reading my novels. They're available on Amazon and any online bookseller. I'm MF Thomas. Thank you for joining me in this episode of My Dark Path, and thank you for walking the dark paths of the world with me. Until next time, my friends, good night.